Welcome to the Highly Effective Man podcast, hosted by former Navy SEAL turned life and fitness coach. I'm your host, JP Bolwan. This podcast is your resource for unlocking the healthiest, most productive, and highly effective man within you. Let's go. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining me today. I'm really excited to get this second podcast out. I've gotten a lot of great feedback from the first one, and if you listened to the first one, I just want to say thank you, and keep listening. Make sure you guys are subscribing or following me on iTunes or wherever you find it, or wherever you listen to your podcast. But thank you, and this is an exciting time for me because my goal is to get these out every week, and part of that is thinking through thoughts and trying to organize things that in a way comes out that is helpful for you. And if there's anything that you want me to talk about or that you want to know about my life, don't hesitate to shoot me an email or reach out. I'm happy to explore different ideas and thoughts and put them out on podcasts. So what I want to do with this podcast is, since it's January and it's the beginning of 2022 and everybody's setting goals, or if you haven't, maybe this podcast will inspire you to chase some goals, or maybe some things that you've thought about and you just haven't gotten around to figuring out how you're going to do it. And I want to start it out with a guy named Wayne Dyer. He had several speaking engagements, and he was like a self-help and self-development type coach. But a quote that I heard him say that I think is appropriate for this podcast, at least, is that he said, "Some people live 70 years and some people live 1 year 70 times." And so when you stop to think about that, some people just live each year with nothing new and just kind of going through the motions, right? That would be the 1 year 70 times. Well, what I want to inspire you to do is to make something different about 2022. Make it a year where you accomplish a big goal, or it's something where you push yourself and there's some massive amount of growth, right? And so I've put together 7 steps basically. When I think back to, the big goals that I've accomplished in my life, how I did them, or some of the things that I thought about, and even some of the things that I've learned that have helped me over the years to make goals better, or to accomplish goals better, or what I have found helpful when I'm coaching other people as well. Really, the reason why you want to do this is because I feel like whenever you chase a goal, or whenever you're pushing yourself really hard, that's when you grow. That's when you build confidence, right? You accomplish something. And I touched on this in the last podcast, but that feeling you get when you've really pushed yourself and accomplished a goal, it creates a massive amount of confidence. And the process of going through that goal is where the growth is, right? And so I have 7 steps here. And so the first step is going to be start with why, right? Why chase a goal? Why are you doing this? When you start to thinking about what goals that you have in mind, think about why, because really that's going to be the true motivator as to why you're doing it. And if your why is weak or doesn't hit you at an emotional level, it's not going to be enough to push you to accomplish it when it gets hard. I think about when I went to try to become a Navy SEAL, right? One of the things that pushed me so much was when guys would tell me like, "Oh, JP's gonna go become a Navy SEAL." Like there was a guy that in high school who kind of laughed about it. And it it really pissed me off, to be honest. I mean, I didn't. It was just in a conversation in passing, but it was one of those things that just rang in my head. And so I was like, I'm gonna prove that motherfucker wrong. And and I was just like, no matter what happens, I was like, I'm gonna get through this. And so when stuff got hard or whatever, it's like I had that kind of ringing in my head, and on top of that, like it was just a huge challenge, and I was like, okay, I got to get through this, right? Because um I want to prove people wrong. I want to prove to myself that I can do hard things and that type of stuff. And once you have your why, then you go to step two, right? Okay, why am I doing this? Maybe I want to grow. I want to build my confidence. All right. Step two is find something hard, right? It can be becoming a Navy SEAL. It can be whatever it is. Like find something hard to do. It doesn't have to be obviously becoming a Navy SEAL, but like maybe a marathon, an Ironman. You know, maybe it's 20 pull-ups in a row. It doesn't matter what it is. It's something that's hard for you and is going to stretch you, and you're going to grow from it, right? If this goal is hard enough, then you know that it's going to force you to change maybe your lifestyle habits. It's going to force you to think about it on the daily. And that's when you know it's a good goal, right? If you're nervous to tell people that you're going to chase this certain goal, whatever it is, then I would say you're probably on the right track. If it's something that you're not really afraid to tell other people about, then I would venture to say it's not hard enough, right? Because if you know you're going to accomplish something, then there's no point in making it a goal, right? It's just something you're going to do, right? Like saying, I'm going to lose, I don't know, I'm going to lose 5 pounds in 2 months, right? It's if you've lost 10 pounds in, 2 months before, and now you might be struggling, like, you know that if you put your mind to it, you can do it, right? Now, the kind of goal that I'm talking about or something that's hard is it should make you a little bit nervous and really question, can I do it? I don't know if I can do it. And that's the kind of goal that is going to increase your confidence, that's going to create massive growth when you get going in it and when you accomplish it. Once you've done that, then I would break it down into steps, right? Now we're going to talk about writing the goal out on paper. And I really like what my friend Mark England said. He said that, he breaks his goals down into 48 hours. Like, what am I going to do within the next 48 hours? What am I going to do in the next 2 weeks? What am I going to do in the next 2 months? And then even after that, it's 1 year. And I really like what Jim Collins says in his book, Built to Last, about companies having BHAG goals. And these are big, hairy, audacious goals, right? And so step 3 is having a 48-hour goal, a 2-week goal, a 2-month goal, and then I would say something that's like a long-term goal, which would be 1 year, 6 or 7 years, whatever it is. It's something long-term that's going to push you for that long-term. So when you think about a long-term goal, it's got to be something that it maybe you're not going to accomplish in 1 year. Maybe it's going to take 2 or 3 years or whatever it is. But in order to accomplish this goal, you have to change your lifestyle. You have to change the way you operate, those types of things. And then once you accomplish that, so that's step 3, now we're looking at step 4. Find a program or a plan to follow. And it's amazing. I mean, we live in an age where, you can just do a couple strokes on the keyboard and all of a sudden you can see how people accomplish so many different things, right? So you could follow a plan, you could buy a program or whatever it is. You could hire a coach if you wanted. There's all these different ways that you can go about accomplishing that goal. And then step 5 is finding like people that are pursuing the same goals. Once again, the internet is amazing for this, right? You can join a mastermind. You can just do a Google search and find people that are chasing the same goal that you might be chasing. Maybe it's to hike Mount Everest, right? Like, I'm sure you could get online and be like, who's planning on, hiking Mount Everest, or, or find groups of people that are training to do these types of things. And it's going to take a lot of time, and it's going to take a lot of effort to accomplish something as big as that is. I mean, I have no idea what it takes to train for Mount Everest, but I'm assuming that you can't just do it in 6 months of training. I have no idea. So if you've climbed Mount Everest, awesome. But what I'm saying is that it's going to take some training. It's going to take some effort. You're going to have to climb some lower mountains and learn all about mountaineering and those types of things. And it's going to take probably years to do. And nothing helps you push you more than being around other people that are doing the same things. If you're with people that are climbing mountains, you can't help but get better and grow at the same time, right? And then step 6 is to show up, right? That means to if you're following a program, let's say you're following a program for getting 20 pull-ups at the end of the year, and you're supposed to do 10 pull-ups today. Well, that means that even if you don't feel like doing 10 pull-ups today, you go and do the freaking 10 pull-ups. You go into your garage, you do your 10 pull-ups. That's showing up, right? If your goal is to lose 100 pounds this year, right? That means eating right, right? If you don't feel like eating right, you do it anyways. That's what showing up is. It doesn't matter how you feel. You just freaking do it. Right. And so one of my goals is, to get out a podcast every week. Right now, I'm super excited to get out because I've had a lot of great feedback and this is fun. But I'm sure there's going to be a time where I might be like, dang, I don't want to do this or whatever. I don't have anything to talk about, but I'm going to do it anyways because I'm going to show up. That's just how it is. And there's been plenty of times when I didn't feel like working out. And this is a big one for me. Like, there's plenty of times where I don't feel like working out. But if I just get into the gym and I start moving around, like, my body will take care of itself. I'll start getting into it. I get warmed up, and then it's like, all right, now it's just go time. You just go, and as long as you're not overtrained or something like that, your body's going to respond. And it's the same thing. As long as you just kind of get into whatever it is, you just show up. I guarantee you, it's just your mind, your body, it'll take care of itself, right? And then step 7, which is the final step, is ask yourself the right questions, right? Don't ask yourself why you can't do something. Ask yourself, how can I do something, right? And so, there's an example that I've used with some of my clients, and one of the examples is like, so I've just started jujitsu. I started in October of 2021, late October 2021, and there was one day where I was just out on the water all day. I was foiling, and for those of you that don't know what foiling is, it's like it's this fin that's underneath the surfboard, and you're riding this surfboard above the water. And I was getting towed behind a boat all day, having fun, obviously, but also practicing some other things. And I was doing it all day, and I was just super tired. When I was done, it was just draining. And I had jujitsu that night, and I was thinking to myself, okay, I don't feel like going to jujitsu. But I was just thinking like, okay, I was thinking to myself, what would a black belt do in this situation? They'd probably go and train. They may not go 100% or whatever it is, but they're going to go and train. They'll go and drill. They'll go and do whatever it is, and still gain something out of it, right? Still move the needle forward. And so that right there was just an example of asking the right question, right? I could have been asking myself, or I could have just been telling myself, I'm tired, I don't want to go. Like, why do I need to go? You know, I've done all this other stuff today. Like, I could have been telling myself, but just that one simple question of being like, okay, what would a black belt do in this situation? They'd probably go train, right? I don't know. I'm not a black belt, but I'm just assuming that's what would happen, right? So when you ask yourself the right questions that lead you in the right direction, that helps. But asking stuff like, why can't I do this? Or why is this so hard for me? Those are questions that don't help you. They don't serve you, right? And another thing, it's so funny because as I think about this podcast, I've been thinking about, okay, what are the things that I could cover, this type of stuff. I came across Ray Dalio's Instagram, and he had a post on there today where he said, almost nothing can stop you from succeeding if you have A, flexibility, and B, self-accountability, right? And so flexibility just means to me like you may have a plan or a program or whatever it is, and it might need to adjust, right? You go with it, you do what you're doing, and you might have to adjust on the way, right? But what I really like about this is the self-accountability, right? Because the only time you fail to accomplish something is when you give up, right? Or you acknowledge that what you're doing was wrong and you need to change it to do whatever it is that you need to do to accomplish it, right? So if you come up short on something, well, self-accountability is saying, okay, let's say I was trying to lose 100 pounds, right? Self-accountability tells me, did I stay on protocol? Did I eat the foods that I was supposed to eat, right? And if I didn't, okay, well then it's not a failure in the program. It's a failure on myself for not sticking with it, right? And so when you do stick with it, now you're going to grow, you're going to learn, and you're going to build the confidence that's needed to accomplish the goal, right? And then when you do accomplish whatever that goal is, you're going to feel amazing. The harder you have to work to get through it, the more sweeter the feeling is when you finish it, right? And so, you know, I think about some of the things that I've done in the past, right? And so becoming a Navy SEAL, playing football, you know, at USD when I'm 32, 33, whatever it is. Like, you know how many people thought I was crazy? Like, I mean, there was somebody that was really close in my life, right? And this person told me like, are you crazy? Like literally they told me like, are you crazy? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna show you how crazy I am. Right? Like when I hear somebody tell me that, or when they doubt me that I can do something, then I know I'm going in the right direction. Right? I know that it lights a fire under me to try and prove somebody wrong, and at the same time prove to myself that I can do something. Because if it sounds crazy to some other people, it makes me want to do it even more, because I think there's a lot of people that limit themselves because they don't believe in themselves. And, you know, if there's one thing I want you to get out of this podcast, is that the only limits that are real are the ones that you allow to be real, right? If you don't believe what other people are saying, you know, like another big one for me is like, okay, well, now you're, you know, in your 40s or whatever it is, and, you know, your body's going to slow down, or you're not going to be able to do these types of things, right? And that's what I love about CrossFit, right? Because CrossFit smashes all that, right? You see like guys that are like 40, 50 years old that are, you know, running 5.5 minute miles, deadlifting 500 pounds, whatever it is. It's pretty freaking amazing, right? Because for the longest time, nobody would think like, oh, that's possible, right? But CrossFit is showing that all of that is possible, and, living a healthy life, being athletic in your 40s and 50s, that's all possible, right? It's just, you have to change your mindset around of what getting old is. Another example that I love too is that I recently heard, just because, I've been getting into jiu-jitsu and all that, is Rickson Gracie, right? I don't know this interview or when he said it, or, what the context was, but basically somebody had asked him like how old he was. And he's like, I don't know how old I am, because the way he looks at it is like, how old I am is based on, how my body feels and that type of stuff. Like, yeah, there's like a calendar year to like when I was born or whatever it is, but I'm paraphrasing obviously, but he's basically saying like, my age, by calendar doesn't matter. What matters is how my body is and what it's able to do, right? And that's just what I believe is based off of years and years of commitment to, being the best jiu-jitsu grappler or martial artist that he could be, and, chasing goals and going after them. I mean, if you spend your life, let's just say that you do every year, you chase after one goal, right? Even just 1 year can massively change you. And now if you do that 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row, what's your life going to be like 5 years from now, right? Just chasing one goal. If you just focus on one goal and making it hard, what's going to happen to you? Where's your confidence going to be? Those types of things. And so, the 7 steps that I have are: start with why. Why are you doing this? Why are you going after this goal? Number 2, find something hard. It's got to be hard. If it's not hard, then it's not even worth writing down or even talking about, right? Step 3, write the goal out on paper. Have a 48-hour goal, a 2-week goal, 2-month goal, and then something that's like a year to 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it is. Number 4, step 4, find a program. Step 5, surround yourself with like-minded people. Step 6, show up, right? Even when you don't feel like it, because that's where the growth is. And then step 7 is asking yourself the right questions, right? It's when you chase your goals and you accomplish them, it's amazing, right? Even if you fail, you're still going to grow. And like I said before, you only fail when you stop chasing that goal, right? If anything, if what some people might consider a failure is just a learning experience. You just got to go for it. What I want to encourage you to do is that for 2022, find that scary goal. Find that big, hairy, audacious goal and go after it, right? I'd be super interested to hear what that goal might be for some of you. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this lit a fire under some of your asses and are ready to get after it, because I'm fired up, and I'm fired up to hear what some of you guys are going to do. So if you enjoyed this, or if you want some help, or if you ever, need some coaching or want some coaching, then reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter now. You can go to my website, higherlevelcoaching.co. And, if you're a male and you're looking to lose some weight and increase your productivity and really just become the most highly effective man, or need help finding that man within you, then you got to get into my next program. I have a group that I'm starting here at the end of January, and I would love for you to join me. Let's go. Thank you for listening to the Highly Effective Man podcast. If you enjoyed or learned something on this episode, do me a favor and share this with somebody who you think needs to hear it. And one last thing, if you want to work with me as your coach to help you get fit, be more productive, and in general, just be the most effective version of yourself, head over to my site, higherlevelcoaching.co. Once again, that's higherlevelcoaching.co, and schedule a call with me there. Thank you again. Let's go.